That red node. If you've spent any time in n8n, you've seen it. And the worst part isn't the error itself. It's that most of the time the workflow just stops. Silently. No alert. No fallback. It just dies mid-execution and you find out hours later when someone asks why the data never showed up. That's what we're fixing today. Error handling is the difference between a workflow that works and a workflow you can actually trust. We're going to cover 4 things: continue on fail, the error trigger node, the try-catch pattern, and how to actually read and debug error output. By the end of this, you'll never ship a workflow without error handling again. Let's go. First, let's understand why workflows break. The most common causes are these 4 things. APIs go down or return unexpected responses. Fields come back empty or in a different format than expected. Rate limits get hit. And network timeouts. None of these are your fault. They're just the reality of building on top of third-party services. The question isn't whether your workflow will fail, it's whether you've built it to handle that failure gracefully. Right now, when a node fails, n8n stops the entire execution at that point. Nothing downstream runs. No notification is sent. It just stops. See that? Everything after the failing node never executed. If that was a workflow sending reports to your clients, none of them got anything. No warning, no fallback, nothing. If you're following along, deliberately break your HTTP request by setting the URL to something that doesn't exist, like this. Execute it and confirm you see the red node and gray downstream nodes. That's the problem we're about to solve. The simplest safety net in n8n is the continue on fail setting. It's available on almost every node, and it does exactly what it says. If this node fails, keep going anyway. Now instead of stopping, n8n marks the node with a warning and keeps executing. The workflow completes. But here's the critical thing. The error data is still in the output. The output contains the error details, the message, the status code, if there was one. This means you can actually use this data downstream. You can check, did the previous node error? If yes, send a Slack alert. If no, continue normally. That's where the if node comes in. We can check whether $JSON.error exists and route accordingly. True path. An error occurred, send an alert. False path. Everything was fine, continue processing. Now your workflow handles both cases instead of just dying. Continue on fail is your first line of defense. But it's not enough on its own, especially for workflows running in production. For that, we need the error trigger. Your workflow should be running end-to-end now, even when the HTTP request fails. Both branches should be green. If your if node isn't routing correctly, double-check the condition is checking for the existence of $JSON.error, not equality, existence. Now let's talk about the error trigger. This is the one that makes your whole account resilient. Look at what the error trigger gives you. The execution ID so you can look it up. The URL so you can jump straight to it. The exact error message. The name of the last node that executed before failure. And the workflow name. This is everything you need to know what broke, where it broke, and how to find it. I'm going to connect a Slack node and build an alert message using this data. Something like this. Now, every time any workflow in my account fails, in the middle of the night, over the weekend, whenever, I get a Slack message with exactly what broke and a direct link to the execution. Last thing, how to actually read error output and debug efficiently. When a workflow fails, go to the Executions tab. Find the failed run. It'll have a red icon. Click it and you'll see the full execution replay. Every node, every input, every output, exactly as it ran. Find the red node. Click its output. The error object tells you everything. The message, the status code, the stack trace if you need it. 3 things to check first every time. 1. What's the status code? 4. 04 means the resource doesn't exist. 401 means auth failed. 429 means you hit a rate limit. 500 means the server broke. Each one points to a different fix. 2. Is the error in the request or the response? If the node never made the request, the issue is in your configuration. If it made the request and got an error back, the issue is with the external service. 3. Is there a pattern? If the same node fails every time at the same point, it's a data issue, probably a field that's sometimes empty. Add a check for that field upstream. Quick tips. Tip 1. Don't put continue on fail on every node by default. Be deliberate. If a node fails and downstream nodes depend on its output, continuing will just produce broken output down the chain. Know which nodes are safe to continue from and which aren't. Tip 2. Set up the error trigger workflow before you deploy anything to production. It takes 5 minutes and will save you hours of wondering why something silently broke. Tip 3. Use the set node on your error branch to always output a consistent shape, even for failures. Downstream nodes that write to databases or spreadsheets will thank you. Let's recap. Continue on fail lets a node fail without stopping the whole workflow and passes the error data downstream. The error trigger fires whenever any workflow in your account fails. Use it to build a centralized alert system. The try/catch pattern wraps risky nodes so failures are handled gracefully. And the executions tab is your debugging home base. Status codes, error messages, full execution replay. Error handling isn't glamorous, but it's what separates a toy automation from something you'd actually trust with your business. Next up is Lesson 4. Your first real workflow in 30 minutes. Everything we've covered so far comes together into one end-to-end build. See you there.